and welcome to another video from oorail. So this video is the first in a new weekly series where we're going to be giving you guys updates on our 3D printing projects. So basically it's an update, a weekly update to what we've been doing with Trackside 3D. It's a chance to see all the kind of cool stuff we've been working on over the past week or so, and it's also a chance for you guys to give us some feedback and what you think, as well as if you want to make requests and so on. One thing I would like to know is if you haven't bought a 3D printer yet, why you haven't. And if there may be something that we could produce that would encourage you to purchase a 3D printer. Now we're not making any money selling 3D printers. If anything, we might make $5 if you happen to buy one from our GearBest link. But what we're really looking for is to kind of push the hobby a little bit and take things to a new level. So with that said, we understand that there's a lot of folks that don't want to buy a 3D printer. And so we're quite happy to announce that Brian from Smart Models has agreed to print up our 3D models for us. So if you head over to smartmodels.co.uk, from his website you can click on the Trackside 3D link, and some of our products are already there. In fact, our very cool point machine. This is a Style 63 point machine, and we'll be showing you some of these later in the video that have been finished up. But these are already available, and he has all of the models. So he's got the Style 63, which is this one, mounted on sleepers already. He also has the one without this piece here, which is the Style 63A from Siemens, which is a newer model that's on the railway today. And so all of these are available in a pack of 6, I think, from Smart Models. So definitely go check out Brian's site, and you can grab those if you don't have a 3D printer. If you see something on our site today or in this video today that you'd like Brian to print, just drop him a message. We've been working with him for the past couple of weeks now, and he's more than happy to produce something that you guys want. So just let him know, and we'll work something out with him. So with that said, let's take a look at what we've been working on this week. So first off, I needed to print out some location cases. So what we've done here is printed out a location case that's on a pre-printed concrete base. Now they come out looking like this on the 3D printer. This is printed with gray PLA, and you can see that it's on a concrete base. It's also slanted, and this is a slightly older British Rail location case that you see on the side of the railway throughout the UK. Now this particular version is the larger of the different ones that are available, so it's a little bit bigger than you might get from a Wills kit or something like that. But it is based off of the British Rail design diagrams for this. So the way we printed this up is we actually used steel paint. We used steel paint from Model Masters, which I have floating around here. As you can see there, painted the location case with steel paint. And then what we also did was we used aged concrete, which is this one, for the base around the bottom, and it gives you this kind of finished look like so. Now, being that it's Trackside 3D and oorail, we did want to push things a little bit, so I thought, well, maybe we could try to produce one with open doors, and that is exactly what we have done. So you have to glue the doors on, but there's actually mounts on the inside of the casing to do that. If I bring it a little closer to the camera, you can see exactly what's going on. So if I turn it this way, you can see the door seamlessly glued on there. Again, we painted it with the steel paint on the top and the aged concrete on the bottom. And now the interesting thing about this design is that these electronics and relays and so on, the detailing inside here, it's actually modular. So these are actually individual bases that slide in. So it actually looks like a shelf unit, and then you can drop these in any way you want. So we'll be coming out with a number of different configurations so that you can 3D print these as well. I know that Brian over at Smart Models, he just recently printed out and produced a 3D engineer kneeling down working on telephones. I think those would work pretty well with this particular model as well, so it's worth checking that out. Interesting enough, Brian and I didn't actually collaborate on that. I produced this, and then a couple of days later I saw Brian had the telephone box one, so it's, I guess, great minds think alike. So just so you see what's going on in here, this is actually based off some photographs of inside location cases we found on the internet. Down here you can see there's a battery backup unit, some control units, some relays, some large relays, some more communication units, and then some more relays along the top here. So you can paint these any way you want, and like I said, you can see there it's moving. These are actually modular, and along with the cable trunking and so on that's inside of it. Now we've got a couple of dozen photographs of inside location cases, some as early as the 1960s and some as late as 2015. So we'll be building out more modules that go in here over the next couple of weeks. So you'll be able to do the same mix and match stuff that we have with the buildings, with the relay cases as well. So things are pretty cool and a little bit different. So hopefully you guys will. First up, we've been working on these speed restriction signs. This one is a 50 mile an hour one. You can see it's been painted with the updated yellow, and we've painted the post black. Now these actually they come out of 3D printer. They look like this. They have a base on the bottom of them. Just makes it easier to install them. You can ballast over that, or you can cut it off if you don't want to use it. And then you have, here's the 85 speed limit one. And so you just take a penknife and basically smooth out the edges. Use a bit of sandpaper to clean it up. Now, I did think about making these a product, but I decided, you know what, feeling generous this week, so we updated these to Thingiverse, so you can download the object model for free. Right now, I have 50 and 85, but over the course of the next week or two, we'll add some other ones, and I may put them together as a pack that you can pay for as well if you prefer to go that route. So while we're talking about free stuff, ballast spreader is also up on Thingiverse. It's not too bad. Basically, it's designed so that when you put ballast in this, you just move it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and so on. It's a little narrower than the ballast spreaders that you normally get. I found that it actually does a pretty good job. There are two versions though. There's a version where the gap here is a little further apart, and there's the one that's a little bit closer together. I don't say it on Thingiverse. Basically, one of them will put more of the ballast out away from the inside of the sleeper out onto the edge. The other one will put it closer to the inside rail. But it works pretty well, and then all you basically do is do your usual stuff after using the ballast spreader. And this is also available for free. It takes about a couple hours to print on the 3D printer, and it's pretty robust. So quite pleased with it. Sent a few to my dad, so he liked it. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Other projects. Been working on these catch pits. You can see there's one here. There's one here. I've got two different kinds. Got a narrower kind. It's basically just not as deep. I think it's about 1 millimeter deep. And we have a slightly deeper one right here. In fact, you can see there's one here by the camera. Painted the inside of it black, and then the edge, the aged concrete color, and then obviously painted the grills that go on top, kind of brown color. I've got a couple here on the side, which I'll show you now by moving the camera. Okay, so just showing you here, I got the installed grill sitting on top of the catch pit. Works pretty well. There's a couple of different kinds. I believe the newer ones that are installed in today's infrastructure, they kind of more of a mesh. I did try printing them out. It didn't quite work as well with the 3D printer that I have, so I'll need to kind of rethink the design a little bit. But this one is the bar type. You see them all over the place. So this will be a product that will make available through the website. I'm going to move the camera around just so you can see the catch pit installed as well while I'm at it. Right, so here you can just see the catch pit. This is actually the larger version, and it's been put in place before I put the ballast in. So the ballast will come up around the edge. It'll still protrude a little bit, and it'll look pretty good. And then what I've been doing is just basically putting a little bit of PVA glue on the back of these, positioning it into place, and then letting it dry. It doesn't take very long. While I've got the camera down at this angle, take another look at that open relay or location case, and it turned out real nice, so I'm quite pleased with those. Here you can see how the grills come out of the 3D printer as well before they've been painted. I've been using the Hatchbox Grate PLA, and right now it's actually available for I think $19.99 on Amazon, so it's worth checking out. Alright, so while we're discussing new products, we've got this that we put up about a week or so ago. This is basically a mounting bracket for terminal blocks. So I know you can put terminal blocks directly into the baseboard by using the screw holes that are right there. However, what can happen is these things are pretty easy to cut through. There's a silicone base, so what can happen is you unscrew something or screw it back in, it's gonna eventually cut through it. However, with this, basically what you do is you mount it on the side or underneath the baseboard, and you simply slide the thing on it like so, and it keeps it in place. And the cool thing is, if I'm doing wiring or something like that on it, and I want to pop it out, install some new wires, or I need to go do some more testing with it or something, I'm going to slide it off, do whatever I need to do with it, and then slide it back on. So it's kind of like a quick release terminal block. Makes sense. Also, when you install it, you can install it with track pins. It's designed for track pins to go in and mount it like so. But if you put a couple of these up in a row, it actually kind of looks like relays that you'd see inside a location case. So if you want to do something a little bit different with your layout, that's an option. So yeah, painted the concrete cable troughs here. This is actually the working concrete cable trunking that we showed you in the previous video. This has been now painted with the aged concrete. If you remember, I printed these things out in PLA and Grate PLA, so come out of the 3D printer looking like this. Blue tacked them down, glued them down, ran the cabling through it, and then put the lids on top. So if you didn't watch the last video, and the lids basically look like this, and just use a bit of gray or white blue tack like this, and it glues the lids down. You can pull them back off if you need to. So what I've done is I've just gone and painted over it with that aged concrete to complete the look, and then we put the ballast in place, so it's looking pretty nice. So if I pull it back here, you can see some of the wiring. I haven't finished putting the lids in this section yet, so I just wanted to show you so you can see the difference between the two. Gonna finish doing this this weekend and put the rest of the lids in, and it should look pretty good. So we'll have a layout update for you by the end of the weekend. The other cable trunking products we have coming up, we have the T and the curved pieces. I didn't quite get a chance to finish the testing on the T and the curves. They still need to go through a bit of a QA process. So I'll be doing that this weekend, and we'll see those upcoming next week, hopefully. So one of the things that we have in R&D right now is this custom catenary and overhead line equipment infrastructure. So this is actually the start of a headspan. So headspan is basically two posts on either side of the track, and then basically the contact wire is suspended by a wiring system that goes across between the two posts. These are made from brass. It's just a standard K&S brass product, H-beam, that you can buy, and they've been cut to a specific length. They're the correct scale difference apart, correct scale height, and so this is just basically a test for the installation for the mounting system. So what we did was we 3D printed some little pieces of plastic. They're just a plastic sort of insert for the H-beam, and what you do is you basically drill a 5mm hole into the baseboard, and then you take your H-beam, you install it into the H-base bracket, and you can easily just check that it's correct. You're pushing down on it like so, and then you can see at the bottom, because it's brass, it's kind of different color, so you can see that it's properly installed. It's all the way through it. And then basically what you do is you'll go and you'll put this into your pre-drilled hole. not going to drill all the way through the baseboard. You're just going to drill part of the way, and then fill it with PVA glue. Drop this in place. We're working on a jig that kind of holds it in place while it glues, and then when it's done, it's actually pretty rigid. You can see here it's not really moving at all. Neither is this one, and so they work pretty well. So this is a little bit different from the portal systems that you see. Portal is a solid structure that kind of goes up and down. It's a little bit bigger. This particular headspan you see all throughout the UK, and it's quite prevalent for anywhere from like the 1960s all the way up to present day. We actually were lucky enough, like I said, to get some diagrams and stuff on the exact specifications, so we were able to cut the H-beams to the correct height, put the spacing to the correct height, and also print out the bases. So the bases we have are one of several different types that are built to the correct specs. They're also curved. It's kind of a little tricky to see there on the camera, but they're the correct size and so on. And so these actually go down over the top and help hold it in place. And then when you put the ballast in and glue the ballast down, kind of just shores it up after it's been glued. So we'll be doing more on this. I'll have a series on our custom overhead line equipment. One of the reasons we're doing this is we actually wanted to have working overhead line equipment. So I have a lot of Hornby electric logos that have a little switch on the roof to let you switch between track power and catenary power. So we'll be testing those out and getting that to work here in this section of the layout, and we'll expand it out, and obviously we'll make the catenary system available over the next coming weeks and months. So if that's something you're interested in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and stay tuned to the channel. Alright, so at the start of the video I mentioned our style 63 and 63A point machines. This is just a quick look at how you might install them onto your layout. So this is the style 63. It's got the extra piece protruding here. This part here is where the cables would be connected, and then at the back here we have the crank port, so that would be a door that opens and you could manually crank it if you needed to. This is where the rod connection is to the point itself, and then this is for detection. So there's the extra detailing part that would connect here and across here, and we're currently working on that, and we'll make those available as soon as they're ready. I also have some brackets that you would sometimes see mounted right here between the rails, just extra kind of support. So those I've also got made up, and they actually fit into these Peco slots for easy mounting. So those will be available pretty soon as well. So lots of kind of cool detailing around this. Now, when you install it, you see here there's a pin on the point arm itself. Now, you'll see here it is actually sliding under the point machine. The idea is that this is supposed to actually go underneath this, and it's been designed to do that. So all you have to do is take a knife and cut one of these pins off the side you're mounting it on, and it'll work. I think what I will do is, if there's enough interest, I might 3D print an extra piece of detailing that will fit into that hole there, and just complete the look as it goes under the points. Obviously this does not impede you using any kind of seep point motors, so if you're using a kind of point motor that's under the baseboard, they'll still work perfectly fine. This gives you the extra detailing to complete the look. In terms of products, like I said earlier in the video, Brian from Smart Models, if you don't have a 3D printer, will sell these to you, I think in packs of 6. We have two kinds. There's 63, which is the older version, and then there's 63A, which is the newer version from Siemens. The 63 was produced by, I think, Wabco, and then the newer ones, the 63As, are produced by Siemens, and they're still a product I think that they sell today. The only difference between the two is this piece here is not on the 63A version. Now, of each one, we sell 3 kinds. We sell it without it mounted on anything, so it's just the point machine by itself. We also sell it mounted on sleepers. So you can see here, this is the version that's mounted on sleepers. And with the version that mounted on sleepers, we sell a standard version, which is this, and a reverse version, which is basically this, moved up a little bit so that it can be installed on the opposite side or in the opposite direction. And you can see here in terms of finishing, we painted the sleepers here the same color that we're going to ultimately weather these ones off, and then the point machine itself is painted with the steel Model Masters color, and it's pretty slick. So this wasn't too hard to design up, and we'll be designing other point machines as well. I just got tired of the Peco ones that everybody has, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to do something a little different. So these are available, and like I said, you can get a pack of 6 of them if you don't have a 3D printer, or you can download the model from our website, trackside3d.co.uk, and print up as many as you want. Alright, so we have one more thing to show you, and then we'll wrap the video up. Okay, so last but not least, we have our castle project. So I don't know if you've watched any of our elevated track section videos that we did over Christmas time, but over the far side in that corner, we have a kind of a hill, and the idea is to name that part of the layout Castle Hill, and have a kind of a large castle or some sort of folly or something up there that'll kind of complete the scene. It also helps create a scenic break in the corner between the two back scenes and so on. So I needed something that was kind of tall, and so what I decided to do was 3D print a castle. Now this is the first part of the castle. It's the kind of bottom part of it. The second piece that I'm working on right now actually clips in, and it's the outer piece here, just drops in place and creates the midsection of the castle. And then we have the top part as well. So it's probably about 3 or 4 weeks away. This took 2 days to 3D print. It's very robust, as you can see. It's really hard. In fact, it took me about 5 minutes to get it off the 3D printer. I ended up having to heat the 3D printer bed as hot as it would get, and then sort of wiggle it back and forth until it popped off. Now I haven't removed any of the supports. You can see here it still has all of the supports around the windows and the other windows and the base and so on. But what I wanted to do was I thought I'd keep it interesting, so I'm going to be doing a couple of videos on this castle project, probably over the weekend. We'll release a few of them. But what I want to do is I want to see if someone can actually figure out what castle this is based off of. So it's based off a folly or castle that's in England, obviously, and the design should be pretty noticeable, hopefully. It's not quite exact. There weren't all the measurements available, but I was able to get enough to base it off, and then I was able to use photographs and Google Maps sort of figure out the rest. So it's probably not 100% accurate, but it is pretty close. So anyway, I thought I'd maybe make it a bit of a competition. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and let you guys try to figure out what castle it is, and the first person to put in the comments the name of the castle, we'll let them pick one of our 3D printed products, and we will 3D print it for them and send it off. And then what I'll also do is for second and third prize, what we'll do is we'll do maybe some 3D prints of our relay boxes here, maybe an opened one and 2 closed ones, and we'll throw in a couple of catch pits, and then the speed limit signs, and then maybe for third prize we'll put the speed limit signs and just the catch pits. And so to qualify for second or third place, what we'll do is in the comments just drop in what you think this castle is, and so the first person will get first prize. I'll give them the pick what they want, and then second and third we'll give them those prizes. And what we'll do is we'll randomly pick second and third. So we'll give it, I don't know, say give it a month, So maybe to the middle of September. We'll say September 25th. And so by September 25th, we'll randomly pick second and third place, and we'll get those prizes off to you guys. And we'll send it anywhere in the world at our expense. So it's all good. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said at the start of the video, we're going to try to do this once a week. So I'm going to go and film this probably on a Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and we'll edit it, let it schedule and so on, and we'll upload it on Saturday mornings. So you'll have a good idea of what's being put together and what's coming up. So like for this week, we're going to be doing a lot of work on the overhead electric stuff. Also going to be working on some signaling stuff. I have a lot of signaling stuff that needs to be wrapped up, so we'll be working on that. And then obviously we've got that castle project that we're going to continue as well as some building projects. So if there's anything you'd like to see, let us know. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time.